"Come back to me," my wife Elizabeth said as I shipped out. Then I met Marlene on the base, and even in her boxy purple uniform, she had the tightest, roundest buns of any woman I ever laid eyes on. I was second in command, and we were engaged in unification on the second day. Anti-gravity is physically exactly what you'd expect. But there are other things you don't. Your head goes light. You start to imagine things. First was the gardener who watered the rows of oxygenating plants in Hospital Ward A for the newcomers who, any day now, would break the pudding skin of their chemically defrosted eggs. I'd also seen him in Ward B, where the workers with injuries went to lie down, sometimes to die. The dead workers were sent down the chute, and the newcomers were their replacements. We know in advance when most things are going to happen, although that too could be an illusion. Even the captain isn't so sure anymore. The second thing was this. The gardener had kidnapped Veronica, Marlene's cabin mate, who'd been missing for 3 days. She'd gone out to rectify a situation between a munitions officer and a D-464-777 pilot. A romantic spat, perhaps, since they were both young, attractive, single, highly fertile, enamored with American jazz, and repulsed by anything remotely Canadian, according to our records. She hadn't returned, and neither the officer nor the pilot could remember ever having seen her. It was obvious they were telling the truth because they were both still angry. Veronica was famous for her hypnotic spells. She used them on couples under her wing, and she never left a situation until both partners were pacified, sometimes unable to remember why they'd been yelling or cursing one another's egg donors in the first place. The one who took Veronica had to have been the gardener, I thought, because everyone else on the base had been interviewed and subjected to rounds of underwater shocks. We came up empty-handed, with no official stone left unturned. The gardener had to have done it, because, as I suspected, he didn't exist. Everyone who did exist was released to his or her cabin, and each cabin was put under 27-hour surveillance. Captain Marco shuddered and turned to me in the cockpit, tilting a contraband bottle of champagne to his mouth. "What do you think happened to her?" he said. "You know the gardener in the medical ward?" I ventured. "What gardener?" he asked. "Exactly." He looked concerned, and the bottle parted from his lips with a low, wet pop. "Are you feeling all right?" he asked. And I assured him I was feeling fine. Better than fine. Brilliant, in fact, but I didn't tell him why. I realized I had known all along that the gardener who had taken Veronica was nothing more than a figment of my own imagination. Which meant, of course, that I had taken Veronica. And when I got back to my cabin, there she was, sprawled out on the bed, wearing her bright blue helmet, her own hypnotic spell turned in on herself under the hard plastic shell. "Veronica," I cooed, remembering I'd seen her before in this exact position around the same time yesterday.